Now on Nightside, the verdict is in for the case of the man accused of murdering a Welton woman in 2013. We'll have the latest on whether the jury found Andres Flores Galindo guilty next.
Also breaking news tonight as a car crash in Yuma sent 3 people to the hospital and the passing of a sports legend in Phoenix. Details next.
Plus, we have an excessive heat warning as we head into the weekend. News 11's Weather Authority is here to give us a look at the temperatures, and we'll give you tips on how to beat the heat. It's Nightside, and it starts right now.
Thank you for joining us. A crash in Yuma tonight sent 3 people to the hospital. It all happened at the intersection of Avenue B and 16th Street around 8:30 tonight as 2 pickup trucks collided. As you can see in the video, both trucks suffered heavy damage. Glass and debris could be seen all over the roadways, and Yuma police officers at the scene told us the people involved did not appear to suffer life-threatening injuries and that alcohol was not a factor. They tell us that what led to the crash could not be determined at this time or who was at fault.
Also, Muhammad Ali, the silver-tongued boxer and civil rights champion who famously proclaimed himself the greatest and then spent a lifetime living up to that billing, is now dead. Ali died today at a Phoenix area hospital. Just a few minutes ago, it was announced where he had spent the past few days being treated for respiratory complications. A family spokesman confirmed this to NBC News. He battled Parkinson's disease for 32 years. He was 74 years old. And thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Cheney.
And I'm Molly Lange. Pretty sad news tonight about Muhammad Ali.
Absolutely.
I'm still in shock. Well, the verdict is in for a local murder trial in the death of a Welton woman found dead in 2013. News
11's Asal Razai has been following this case and brings us details from the courthouse. Asal.
That's right. A trial that's been happening here behind me for weeks now is over. Andres Flores Galindo is guilty, now convicted of first-degree premeditated murder.
Guilty of first-degree murder as alleged in count 1.
After only 3 hours of deliberations, a guilty verdict convicting Galindo of not only first-degree murder, but also aggravated assault and tampering with evidence. 2 other men besides Galindo are behind bars today in connection to Crystal Figueroa's death. Her body was found in a citrus grove with 16 gunshot wounds back in 2013. All the men involved in her murder are known to be affiliated with either the Arizona Mexican Mafia or Soma, a Somerton-based gang. Jose Jimenez and Ramon Ramirez, along with Galindo, were at the groves the night Figueroa was killed. Ramirez testified during the Galindo trial several times over the past few weeks. His contact with Figueroa is what prompted her murder, as she was known to be dating Jimenez at the time. Galindo seems to have just been there when altercations took place between Ramirez, Jimenez, and Figueroa at a hotel room. According to Ramirez's testimony, Galindo took the final shots at Figueroa at the groves after Jimenez's gun jammed. The state's argument was based off circumstantial evidence, declaring witness testimonies credible, despite the fact that they were all either from affiliated gang members, convicted felons, or drug addicts. The defense argued the physical evidence at the crime scene is inconsistent with the testimonies in this case, mainly because of the lack of evidence altogether. Galindo was not initially a suspect in the investigation, therefore detectives didn't collect any DNA from him. Even without any physical evidence, Galindo will now join Jimenez and Ramirez in prison. A very emotional trial for Figueroa's family, as every detail of her murder was played out here in court over the last couple of weeks. Galindo will face Judge Nelson for sentencing in August. Reporting from the Yuma County Superior Courthouse, Asal Razai, News 11.
Well, an exciting day of intense heat, and we're going to be in for more of that as we get on into the upcoming weekend. But here's a look at what we're seeing with your Yuma Rehabilitation Hospital Skycam. Just a glimpse of Yuma, and of course you got the rest of the Desert Southwest as well. Here's what we're looking at as far as your temperatures are concerned at this time. They've been sky high all day long, and here we are after 10 o'clock, and most of us are just barely settling into the 90s. It's just been that kind of day today, and we're going to get a repeat as we get on into tomorrow. As you can see, all this area shaded in purple or pink or whatever color you see. The important thing is, the excessive heat warning will be continuing. It will be going until 8 p.m. Sunday night. So we got a whole day of it, Saturday and Sunday again, before we begin to let things up. And we'll tell you how that's going to come about, coming up in my weather forecast in just a bit.
Thank you, Rob. I look forward to it. And speaking of that heat advisory, now it's easy to just sit around the house to keep cool, but that may not be so easy for some of our residents here in Yuma. We spoke to local organizations who help the Yuma community beat the heat. Crossroads Mission says their doors are always open and there is always water available to those in need. Salvation Army has its annual mobile hydration unit that travels around the county, providing aid to people who need a cold drink or a place to cool off. We spoke to Major Randy Hart with the Salvation Army on why their mobile hydration unit is so crucial to keeping people safe during the heat mornings.
If people are struggling, they can come inside the bus, sit, cool down in the air conditioning, get hydrated, get themselves acclimated a little bit, and recharge so that they can go back out again and find another place of shade to be. So this is a very important piece of the puzzle for this community. It is very dangerous, especially for the elderly, vulnerable adults who are out there, and for children as well.
Now, if you'd like to make a donation to the Salvation Army, Hart says that they are taking water at their main location on the Big Curve.
In anticipation of the extreme temperatures, the U.S. Border Patrol Yuma and El Centro sector have placed their special unit on high alert. The Border Patrol Search, Trauma, and Rescue Unit responds to 911 emergency rescue calls. The special team is made up of EMT trained agents as well as paramedics. El Centro Border Patrol says Borstar is alert 24/7, but during these hot temperatures, the team is constantly out on the field.
High alert means is that instead of possibly doing some training for the week or possibly dealing with other calls that we may have, we try to get out into these areas that are known to produce a lot of 911 calls.
Yuma sector says during the last week they have responded to 10 emergency calls, and El Centro says they haven't had any calls for their Borstar team during the last few days. An Arizona man is recovering after being attacked by a swarm of bees.
That's right. Here's more on what might have saved the man's life. Welcome back, everyone. A vigil was held today in Tennessee to remember Blue Angels pilot Captain Jeff Kuss, who died in a plane crash yesterday. The incident happened as the Blue Angels were preparing for the Great Tennessee Air Show this weekend in Smyrna. Kuss's jet crashed during a practice flight. It is unclear at this time exactly what caused the jet to go down, and residents across the desert Southwest love seeing the Blue Angels perform each year at the NAF El Centro Air Show, where they train several months out of the year, and Kuss will undoubtedly be missed.
This is KYMA News 11.
Welcome back to Nightside. The flooding across Texas has turned deadly once again. This time, a group of soldiers training at Fort Hood were swept away during a flash flood.
The soldiers had recently returned from duty in South Korea and were taking part in a training mission during storms yesterday. Here's NBC's Jay Gray with more. Welcome back, everyone. Google says its self-driving cars can now honk. According to USA Today, Google says its engineers have programmed the car's computer brain to understand which road situations might require a honk.
This just sounds scary to me, but the report says our goal is to teach our cars to honk like a patient, seasoned driver. Well, I don't know where I've been, but I didn't know that they had cars on the road without drivers.
They do, kind of. I mean, the ones that are fully automated, they're still testing that out.
Okay.
So there's autopilot assist right now, but what do you think of this? Would you buy a car that would completely drive for you? Would you feel safe?
No, definitely not.
Not right now, at least.
No, never.
Never?
I mean, unless they had a special freeway made for these cars.
Okay, I understand what you're talking about.
And they can't go like, over 50 miles per hour or something.
So you wouldn't feel comfortable hypothetically putting your son or daughter in a vehicle like that? Okay. Well, it's very interesting. Something for these people to consider as they move forward.
Definitely. Thanks, Alex.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody. Try to stay cool.
Good night.